where ideas may appear, right? Where ideas may appear with
Nick
and Sivia. And we, 30 seconds ago, just finished watching Riverdale's latest episode, the 10th episode. Actually, I have it on my phone here, what it's called. Chapter 10, The Lost Weekend. And, woo, you and I screamed so many random catchphrases that we made up on the spot. That's how exciting this episode was. Wait. This episode was so exciting that we, in the moment, came up with our own, branding.
It was so tension-filled for the first half, and then
that amazing, bam, bam, bam,
literally one scene basically just
released the tension.
And
it can I just
made
say,
it all so much better and more satisfying.
It healed my soul in a way
it did.
that I'm now fully complete as a person, because that was such a gratifying. I feel like there's one annoying thing that filmmakers do is somewhere in their head they all have in their brain that everyone gets what they want at the end of the movie. So they started making movies where people don't actually, the twist is it didn't turn out the way you wanted. But that's now been done so universally. It's actually, you're kind of left most of the time being so that was it? He was just beaten up by the bully or something like that?
It's kind of like with Clerks. Kevin Smith's original ending was going to be that somebody went into the Quick Check and killed Dante in a robbery. Mm-hmm. And I forget who it was, but somebody came up to him at, when it premiered at some festival and was like, if you don't change that ending, this movie's probably not going to do nearly as well as it could.
And so that was, to have that scene really be such a fulfilling moment for especially a character I love so much. I was like, oh my god. But, okay, do you want to talk about that scene first, or do you want to kind of build up to it a little bit? Just to, clear... Because I feel, only because, and I'm not trying to build it up for people listening who are like, what are you talking about? Or, oh no, talk about that scene. Because we can universally say it was the best scene ever in history, ever. But it's more the idea that I feel like it will be more meaningful if we kind of get some certain arcs out of the way.
Yeah.
And then kind of finish it more with that scene. So, Veronica is... By the way, Veronica and Archie are so similar. It's, more and more... I really like Veronica, so she keeps me from being you dumb, or you dumb hoe. The way with Archie, I'm fuck boy. But certain decisions she makes week after week, I can't help but be Veronica. And so, basically, long story short, her dad needs her to testify. She's he seems kind of an asshole. I don't want to testify and make him get out for free because of Ethel's dad and other people and so on and so forth. And so she ends up being upset about the whole situation with the Blossoms, but no one wants to do anything about hearing that the Blossoms had got her dad put in jail, because somehow that will link him to Jason. It's a possibility.
Yeah, because they were making payments to him, and then they wanted to stop making the payments.
Which I totally see how he would become a murder suspect.
It makes it look like he could have, exactly.
And so what happens is, he basically, hold on, I was on a really good roll, and then I kind of shorted out mentally. So she's like, okay, so I can't do anything, and we can't use this information in court, and I feel really mad about the Blossoms they know they're in a situation where they're able to just get away with it. And so she decides to take it on Cheryl. And I don't like Cheryl, but I think Cheryl's not the best person.
But
she didn't do anything.
There was no reason to take it out on Cheryl.
She didn't do anything.
I will say, I like that Cheryl's retaliation was literally just crashing the party, because I was so worried that it was going to be... No,
she went horrible at the end of that party where she was getting everyone to reveal their secrets and deeply embarrassing them.
That is horrible.
Yeah.
But I was literally thinking she was going to get chucked to round up the football team, and them to just baat everybody up, break all the property.
That is real life, and that's terrifying. That probably does happen somewhere. But
I know, that's why I thought.
But anyways,
that's what it would be.
So it's okay, that was really, and that's what I'm saying. Cheryl, I was left being Cheryl, I don't. This is the part that upset me. I totally get why Cheryl. Okay, let me make my main point. I am not upset at Cheryl. This is what I'm trying to say. Because this wasn't her choice. Again, they're wasting Ethel. Ethel shows up a couple times in this. Mm-hmm. It's I'm sorry, is that so I can look across the screen and be like, there's Barb? Like, give her a purpose. And even Kevin and Joaquin, like, even though they have smaller roles, they still have a purpose. When they're on the screen, you feel like they're adding to the scene, and they're talking, and you feel like they're characters. And then you have Ethel pop up, and it's like, she looks through windows and dresses like a giant frowsy frump. Like,
yeah, Ethel was just, literally all Ethel did was, Jughead, you should have a piece of cake. It's bad luck. This whole night's bad luck.
Done.
That was it. It's like,
the reason I'm bringing up Ethel is when Cheryl goes up and she goes, I know you hate Archie and Polly too, blah, blah, blah. I was like, here's the moment. Surprise me. It's Ethel.
That's why
does Ethel have a problem?
It's Ethel.
I want that so bad because...
I need her to be evil, yeah.
Because it would just be so fun. And then we would left being like, and why do you have a problem with them? What did they do to you? So... that's not the fault of the show, or that's the fault of the show, not Cheryl the character. So I feel like if it was Ethel and because she knows everyone's shit, that's Cheryl's thing. Cheryl knows shit. Cheryl knows everyone's shit. Cheryl would have gone up to Ethel and been like, hey, what's up, girl? Let's do something. I know your creepy ass can do something. My scary ass can. So when she went up to Chuck, it's like, well, he's technically the bad guy. He's the one. It's not Ethel, it's him. But the reason why I had such a problem with that is Cheryl, you weren't cool with him doing that. Like, you were a bitch, but you kind of made it clear, like, ew, gross. Like, really? He does that? What a terrible person. My brother did that? And you're, like, supporting him now? And also... yeah,
all because Veronica did something petty to you. It's like, but what does this have to... why then... okay, so it was... yeah, it's true that Betty's friends with Veronica, but... so that's the only way she's connected. And also, this is Jughead's party. What did Jughead do to you? It's like, and then you're gonna team up with Chuck, who you thought was like a pig when you found out about it. First, it's like, what?
Can I say something about the actor in general that really pisses me off too, especially about him, because he went there. This is the part that I'm really upset with him as an actor, that I actually wish they got some different person to do. Okay, so he has a particularly evil smile, like as a human being, like. Him as a person doesn't take much to look like he has an evil smile, naturally.
He does look evil, yeah.
So I feel like when he's saying the lines, I'm getting this double meme of, like, I kind of feel almost weirdly like both the character and the guy. The character's actually doing it and is evil, but it doesn't seem too difficult for him to tap into that character in a weird,
some people
unsettling...
are really great at acting. It could be that.
And this is the part that creeps me out.
I mean, to be honest with you, how weird was Tom Arnold in Good Dick, though?
Super, yes.
So...
wait, what about Tom Arnold? What was it?
Tom Arnold was like a guy who like molested his daughter.
Oh yeah, and he was like terrible.
And he played it really well.
He did, but I just don't. I'm not. Even though he played it really well, and I did believe he was an awful person, and I believe it in many other people. I don't know what it was about the actor, babe.
Yeah, he did a good job.
And then this is the part that bothered me. He did way too good of a job in a way where I think it feels very triggering. Like, I think if I was a victim of sexual assault, I would actually, and I'm being serious about this, he really made it a little too real of how you can, like, desexualize and be aggressive.
Smile, yeah.
That, and how he kind of, like, licked his lips and was slow. It was way too real for me, to the point that I was like, I don't want this show. I don't want this. You took it to another level I'm not comfortable with.
Yeah.
So I just am a little sad that Cheryl had to bring him apart, because I'm can Chuck's storyline die?
Yeah, they made his character so truly horrible.
But
I just
maybe
don't want
to make the whole Jughead scene amazing.
They always get you in the end.
Before we get there,
by the way, why did they have to pervert Chuck's character so much?
Chuck was just first of all, he was the first friend of color, as Archie. I said not Archie.
Andre.
As Andre the black nerd says, first Archie friend of color, the first black character before they had Spanish or anyone like that, and he literally was on the football team, and he was a comic book artist in his free time, and he was just like a genuine, and he had one girlfriend that he was just with.
So they made him the polar opposite.
He was actually with Melody.
Honestly, what they really should have done is they should have kept Chuck as Chuck.
Yeah.
And then they should have had added a different character to be what Chuck is now.
Reggie, the Asian dude, bro.
You don't have to do that to Reggie. Just create a character.
Okay, yeah. You know what?
Like,
yeah.
I don't think that, like, to make someone as horrible as Chuck, any character, is just like, why? But anyway, so...
And I can't help but be like, why is there... Why... I know you have some black characters on your show, but, like, maybe not make the one
he's
black
also,
kid, like, really
he's also
evil.
a black guy.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what really bothers me.
That's what I'm saying.
He's the only...
That's what I just said,
Besides Pop... He's the only black male.
I feel like those characters
show.
are almost there to be like, see, we didn't just pick him because he was black. Like we just picked some random kid, and they might have. But I'm like, but there's too many terrible stereotypes that
really
movies put in.
tasteless about the only black male
That's what I mean.
in the show.
It reinforces negative stereotypes.
A sexual abuser. I don't like it.
I didn't. Oh, you're even okay.
I don't like it at all. And also the fact that they used a character that was actually initially supposed to be super creative and cool. Like,
he doesn't even draw.
Like
he doesn't even draw. I wish he was like a terrible person.
I draw my fantasies in a.
I
draw my own hentai.
I can't think of the name of it, but there's an anime/hentai art form where the girls, and I remember my art friend, when I was younger, went to one of my art summer camps. Her boyfriend drew like this. He actually was a black guy. She was a little white girl, and he drew this type of anime, and the style makes the girls' boobs and ass so gargantuanly big that their like torso is like maybe like 1/11 of their body, and then their hands.
So like Miss
they're
Kobayashi.
Usually bigger.
I'm
like,
kidding. I'm kidding.
But then like you don't even see their elbows because usually their elbows are tucked in, so when their hands kind of pop out the sides, it's like that's how big it is, and I was like, she showed me some of his doodles, and I literally was left being like, it was more than the fact that they were like a big boobs and ass, and was obviously being like, oh my god, like boobs and butt. It was more of this isn't even good looking, so it sucked on top of it. Mm. So it just leaves you being, if you're not good at...
Reminds me of like Picasso.
Wait, hear me out. So if you're not good at doing that drawing, you just look like a pervert. So I like to pretend that this Chuck in this universe is like drawing big old boobies and being like, girls, they don't sleep with me, so I spread terrible rumors.
In my book.
I draw in my book.
Anyway, to get off the subject of Chuck.
Wait. Do you have another subject you want to choose? Because I wanted to talk about one real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I absolutely love that, like, when Val kind of was possibly coming up, that was the first time I actually felt the relationship was a little bit real. But I loved when that Archie, I did think it was really cute that Archie was like, is Val there? Oh my god, it's Val! And he, like, runs after Val.
So I think she might want me back.
I thought that was really cute, yeah! And then the two thing is, okay, I know for a fact, in my brain, that I'm imagining, that Val did that on purpose.
Showed up just to see him.
But, hear me out. That doesn't make me think less of her very chill, very mature vibed character. I just think you sound like a normal person, because I think people do that at any age, where you clearly still like the person. This is your opportunity to kind of, you want to, you not publicly, you want to cold shoulder them to their face, because you miss them, and it's kind of like your way of being like,
and he abandoned her. She wants to at least feel like it's even. But I don't
know if she was doing it for that reason. I think she really does. She is upset.
In her defense, too, she told him to go away, and he wouldn't, and he kind of, like, got in her way and wouldn't let her walk.
Hold on. When she's like, I'm looking for Melody, and then Melody, right at the end of that scene when she throws the drink, shows up.
Why can't Melody speak?
Give Melody a line!
Why can't Melody speak?
And can we just talk about this?
I do like her looks, though. She gave Archie a look like, you better not...
She looks like she really... You know how Val is a little more tender than Josie? Yeah. I feel like Melody is the sweetest of all, and we just haven't heard from her. And this is the part that upsets me. Her freaking name is Melody. Like, I don't even get to, like, hear her sing solo. No, give her a damn line. Even if... Okay, do you know how offensive it is? Again, I can't help but point this out and be like, the one freaking black girl, extra... Or not extra, but, like, her character isn't given more of a storyline. How is it that everybody in the background...
Yeah, Dalton Doily gets to
has
speak.
2 lines. Dalton Doily has 2 lines. You can't have her just turn and be like, Archie, you can't fix things. Something. My god. I mean, I haven't heard her say... I don't know what her voice sounds like.
No, I think it's ridiculous that she hasn't had one line.
It was cool as hell, and the actress was actually deaf or something.
Or mute. I
but,
guarantee you
or she was deaf or something.
That would be
and instead of including her, because her character isn't deaf, she looks at them and she goes, let me take out my hearing aid.
Not to be...
Don't. Just like making a terrible joke of her being like... Of her just being like, you don't have to write those lines. You don't have to cope to my, like, very understandable disability. I'm gonna take one for the team. We'll make my character silent, right? Instead of being like, no, we probably can just make Melody deaf and she can sign or talk, that's fine.
Not to mention Clerks again, but I'm waiting for that Silent Bob moment where she says
yes!
the most profound
no!
thing.
Can she have a couple at the end of maybe either, like, every couple episodes or each episode?
At the end of the season.
If she was Silent if she was Silent Melody... Wait a minute. Bob. Not only is she technically silent, but how great does that sound in, like, I don't know what the term is when it's two, like, opposite words, so silent and then melody making a sound, so silent melody. Mm-hmm. By the way, Antonym, can we just talk about how that would be the best serial killer name ever?
Serial killer name?
Or like
I was
robber,
thinking like a...
Silent Melody, the Silent Melody Burglar.
Like a name of an album or a band or
the Silent Melody Burglar.
Album of a band. Anyway. But yeah, all the tension, let's see, what was it that was making us tense throughout the episode? So,
Chuck.
The whole thing with Veronica, the whole thing with Chuck, yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh, you know what it was? Oh.
It was Jughead lashing out at Betty. That really hurt me. I was like, are they gonna break up? I was like, dude, what are you doing? I understand you're mad, but like... Don't do this. Don't do this.
Yes. Yeah,
and he looked at her and he was like, you're the girl next door. I'm different. It's like, dude, you're being mean.
He was, first of all, the writing was great, but holy shit. This is not only why I like Jughead as a character, but Cole Sprouse or Spruce. I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Holy crap. He's making me see him as an actor on a whole nother level. How he brought. I don't think I've ever felt that way during a scene like that and really like was caught in the moment and believed it. Mm-hmm. But I think the part that you and I felt was whoever wrote it, it was very relatable.
Yeah.
And when you see him pushing her away, that's it's not, some writers write it so it's like when someone blows up like that, it feels very random. And it's like, why are they self-sabotaging themselves? Yeah. Oh, because I'm just dark. And he isn't self-sabotaging himself in that way. He's self-sabotaging himself in a very realistic, scared, afraid of... He's like, I can see we're different. And I'm not accusing you for being different. I'm accusing me for being different. And I'm just pointing it out. How are we not talking about this? That...
Oh, and when he says,
and then when he's like, sad at the end that
he's like, I'm just like a project to you.
Yes.
Which is like, once again, a horrible way for him to view himself, but like such a mean thing to say to Betty.
Oh, and she cried. And then he realizes,
however, initially I didn't have a problem with him being like, Betty, I just wanted it to be the two of us.
But that's why it felt more realistic because it was this really honest build-up.
And she was like,
and she was, and I'm not blaming her because I think I totally understand where she's coming from.
She shouldn't have thrown the party though.
She shouldn't have, and I think she did push it a little too far. But honestly, it wasn't like that terrible. But I liked that it really gave weight to what he said without making her a complete asshole, and have her kind of had to wake up and be like, yeah, I need to accept that he's not kidding.
And it's also understandable that he would think that she was just trying to like make him normal, like. Oh, I'm going to impose what I see as normal as wanting to have a birthday party on your birthday
and can I say
on
something?
You because I want you to be normal.
Subconsciously doing that because to her she's thinking, but this is what everyone does. This is what I do. This is what our friends do.
Well,
and she's not mentally connecting to the idea that by just putting it in their life, it's like you're saying, I'm not accepting what you're saying or what you want, and that it's different than the norm.
Or maybe she was having trouble confronting things that she thought were abnormal about herself. So
I think that's what she said.
She was coping with it by wanting to take part in something that was just completely normal.
That's why I think she was agreeing it with him at the end, being like, yeah, I don't know what is wrong with me, but it was more than just when talking about what Chuck had talked about with what she did with the black wig.
But it's just her in general.
It was her saying, like, she literally said, like, basically in so many words, you're actually right. I was kind of like forcing something that I shouldn't have forced because I was distracted with these things about myself. Okay, now let's talk about the big, like, amazing Like, I want to rewatch it right now. So basically, Jughead has that really, like, horrible, sad conversation. And then what happens is Cheryl and... he's going to try to find Betty. He tries to leave also. He tries to run away. So he does try to run away one time that night from the situation and from Betty. Yeah. Then, what ends up happening is Cheryl stops him from going out with Chuck. And Cheryl and Chuck make some revealing secrets about everyone, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah, they stop him from going out, and they tell everybody, okay, we're going to play a game of truth or dare, but really, you just tell us, like, horrible
Yeah, it was like an interrogation situation. Yeah. Like, the way that only and by the way, can we talk about how
Chuck totally fucking copped out, and he was like, we all know why I got suspended, but... let me tell you this, I'm, like, hot for Betty because, oh, yeah, by the way, here's this thing about Betty. It was like, that's a cop-out, dude.
Yeah,
you basically use that as an excuse to throw Betty under the bus.
Of course. I would be the girl that would be like, it wouldn't hit silent.
Excuse me, you're not following the rules.
Wait, no, when he's silent, when there's, like, a moment, when he's pausing silent, I'd be like, didn't you still slut-shame half our school? Doesn't that change anything? Or be like... hey, I like Betty now. But, so he's looking for him. When Chuck gets to revealing Betty's dark secret and really humiliating her and breaking it down in a humiliating way, when in reality, I don't think she should be embarrassed for what she did. I totally understand why she was passionate. Who gives a crap if she did have a moment thinking she was Polly? Like, I just don't, I don't know, I would be in favor of her either way. But, basically, she's getting humiliated, and then Jughead... oh, he gave a good punch.
Sucker punch.
I was wondering if he was going to be not like a weakling or like... he just seemed really small to me, and I don't think he would be such a shitty fighter, but when you see some kids in fights and it's like they throw a punch, but they're not the best at it, and then they really just get their ass kicked. I didn't know if he'd be like that, or be someone to, like, as soon as someone starts punching them, they're not afraid, but their brain stops working and they forget to punch back. Do you get what I'm saying?
Or they can't.
He gave, like, I've been scrapping in the Irish yard for, like, a decade. Good, skinny, but scrappy, but, like, on the cheek, like, punch. And then after he punches him and hell breaks loose, his father steps in, breaks up the situation.
Throws Chuck out of the party.
Throws him out, gets him out, and then he breaks up the party, which is what I think Archie would have been ultimately happy about and all the nuclear
it's like,
friends.
everybody go home.
And then Jughead, feeling embarrassed in the moment, tries to leave and thinks it's over between him and Betty. And his dad is like, I can't give you the family that she and those friends give you, and she's a great girl. What are you doing? Stop running from your... Don't let it happen again. I just love
that Jughead's dad did something for Jughead.
Yes! A really good deed.
I just love that, and I just love that he did that, because...
he was like, this is all I can offer you. I can't offer you consistency. Yeah. I can't offer you an alcohol-free house. I can offer you something valuable before you let your life become this.
Yeah, I really just, like that he was there for him. And
so good.
And him and Betty got to patch things up. And, of course, Betty's not going to stay mad at him after he, punched a guy twice his size in her honor.
And then they're in the damn diner.
Oh, yeah.
And, again, I can't get over these two actors with the good writing,
Bughead.
What they're doing by themselves, as well as what they're doing connecting together. And she just has this really great moment where I like how they cleverly... how do I say this? Sometimes people are just like... when they wrote Jughead's line, they said, I'm weird, I'm a weirdo. And that would have been, in any other actor's situation, a corny line being like, oh, really, you're telling me you're weird? That you're the outcast? Are you serious? And Cole was like, I'm weird. I'm the weirdo. Like, he literally was making fun of... like, he really made it meta, where I was like, oh, shit, that line works. And I was worried with Polly, she was going to be like, I'm this. And she really said this beautiful speech that made you understand, like, it's like, oh, she's a weirdo too, and he doesn't have to, she isn't perfect. And then you realize he feels sad that he was thinking of her as perfect. Yeah. And then she shows him he's self-inflicted. Now this is the terrible part. I normally see that some people can't handle when their loved one has self-abused, and they can kind of get overwhelmed and scared. Maybe they can't handle that type of deep sadness someone's experiencing, especially if they're suicidal or something like that. It's awful, but honestly, some people just, like, don't have the stomach for something that's kind of very serious. Actually, very serious, not kind of. And when she showed him that, and he kissed her hands, and they just snuggled. And you said, when that moment happened and you kissed it, you went, oh.
Yeah.
They're a ride or die couple. And I was like, yeah, they are.
That was like the point of no return. Like, they might not last forever, but
are you kidding me?
They're not just dating.
He's gonna die or she's gonna die, and they're literally never gonna date anyone their whole life, and they're just gonna be the old guy or old lady planting flowers, being like, my husband and or wife love roses.
Why does one of them have to die?
I'm saying one of them is probably going to die at some point in their life.
Oh, yeah. I
and if one lives an extra 10 or 20 years, that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be like, oh, forever.
No, like, that was the point of no return. Like, I thought that they were a pretty good couple, but this is when it's like, okay.
Sorry. Sorry. I heard a noise. Apologies.
But I thought they were a pretty good couple, but this is like, they're pretty set. Because I like that when she told him about her problems, he felt more comfortable. He didn't feel like the only weird one. She felt comfortable because she already knew his problems, and to her, all of Jughead's problems are basically circumstantial. The fact that he's introverted isn't a problem. Which only makes her
feel more like a weirdo, because she's like, oh, he's not a weirdo, like, he's under situation he can't be, like, it's reasonable for him to respond the way he does.
He's a weirdo because...
I actually think something's mentally wrong with
he's a weirdo because he's introverted and he likes things that other people aren't really interested in and stuff like that. Which is nothing... She thinks that she has a deep psychological issue, and he's like, no, I mean, I get it. Because he definitely probably has some pent-up anger, too.
Oh, yeah. I think that's why he, like, gets it.
Let's be honest.
He was so dead when Veronica was coming down the stairs, and he was, like, by himself in the sun in a quiet room with a cup of coffee, leaning back in his, like, flannel. And I was like, oh my god. Like, I was like,
don't worry.
Baby girl Veronica.
I'm not going to tell anybody.
He's
and
like,
he said the same thing to Archie. Yeah.
Oh, God. Which, by the way, I like that they left it kind of being like, well, did they have sex? Because she was in her
You would think if they had sex, then Archie wouldn't have slept on the floor.
Yeah.
Because once you have sex,
but then
it's not...
Archie kind of was like, he was like, did you? And he was like, yeah. And then I liked that it was like going, because you want it to be both.
Yeah, personally, I guess I don't really need to know.
But I'll tell you this, I'm very neutral about the relationship. I'm happy it's happening in the sense that it's like, good, really give those characters something, but it's great because I'm not excited about your relationship, and I also am not upset about it. I'm like neutral. I'm like, cool. I was just like, thumbs up. That's nice, you know. But okay, this is like, okay, so Jughead and Bughead, I meant, is the great part of the majority of the scene that you and I were like, oh my god, it's the best thing ever. Side note to everyone, I was telling you this. I want them to kiss, right? Because I like ship them, and then I just want to come up the side and join the kiss and kiss their kiss. So much. But so that's the best scene. But the star, like the gold star, like extra points, you know, if you're gonna, you know, do well on this test. The extra points, the gold star moment of the little snippet of this episode was we learned Alice was a hood chick. Yeah. She was in the Southside Serpents.
Not only first he was like, she's confronting Jughead's dad being like, what are you doing in my neighborhood? You know, I'm part of the neighborhood watch, blah, blah. He's like, you know, I know you don't live in the South Side anymore. So I was like, oh, she's originally from the South Side. Maybe she's ashamed of it because, you know, classism or whatever. Okay. And then when he says, like, a serpent doesn't shed its skin, it's like,
by the way,
she wasn't just from the South Side. She was from
serpent. She'd wear a little tiny black leather skirt and her little and she'd pop up the collar and she'd have her blonde.
You know what's interesting about that? Because I haven't seen any female serpents in the show so far.
I forgot to tell you. Real quick, side note. Did I tell you? I found somebody's cast video, which means it's Create a Sim. It's for The Sims 4. It's this game I play. Blah blah blah. I made a comment of saying, because they made a Southside Serpent, like, character with the jacket.
Yeah.
But as a sim, and I said, where did you get that jacket? Or, like, where can I get that jacket? And they actually linked me to the jacket. So some of my sims can be Southside Serpent.
Oh, that's great.
Sorry, nerdy moment. But anyways, I can't, by the way, now that you and I watched Twin Peaks, I loved, first I hate Alice, because she was way too good at what she did. Then I loved her. And now I love her on a really deep level because she was so awesome as Shelley, and Shelley was very sweet and constantly, like, naive, even when she was doing something not that, like, good. Like,
the whole thing
she was just,
Leo.
like, lovably dumb and constantly kept making dumb decisions and just was unaware, but not in an annoying way, like, in a lovable way. And then to see Alice, who the actress plays the same character of both, and Alice was, like, ruthless, smart, way on edge. Like, even when she's talking to Betty, which you and I cracked the fuck up when she was like, did you love Dad? Did you tell him everything? She's like, yeah. And I wish I hadn't. And then she, like, I like that she was.
Now I know what that was. She probably told him about what she used to do.
She really, and that was a moment that I was like, oh shit, Alice. And this is what I'm talking about. So anyways, I'm just saying it's interesting to see them play both, like, be so good at both sides of the spectrum and me really believe it. But one thing I liked about her saying that is when she was saying it, she wasn't saying, like, don't trust Jughead, don't trust boys. She literally was like, I actually love you. This is actually kind of okay advice. And I'm not telling you to do it this boy. I'm just letting you know this is a thing that can happen to be aware.
I love that she doesn't have a problem with Jughead, even though she knows...
Yes, that's the best
part. Clearly she knows his dad pretty well. Mm-hmm. They may have even dated.
Oh my god, I want to see that sex tape. There's so many sex tapes.
They definitely have a VHS.
I need a Buckhead sex tape. I need a twin sex tape. And I now need Alice Cooper. And it's... What's his name? What's the dad's name?
I don't know his name. I just know him as Jughead's dad.
Is it Eddie or something?
I don't remember.
Anyways, yeah.
So that was really great. I'm liking Alice more and more. Like, I hated her in the beginning. I thought that she was, like, so controlling of Betty, and I knew that she had, like, fucked up Polly. And sending Polly to a nunnery and being like, oh, Polly can't talk to you, which was a lie, was fucked up. Mm-hmm. But when you find out that...
When we get past that horrible deed.
You get past that part, and you find out that her husband was trying to make Polly have an abortion, and she kicked him out because of that. You're like, oh, okay, all right.
That bitch, by the way, has... Hold on. Stop the presses. Remember when she made the point to saying to her husband that he had put her through a situation where she had to have an abortion?
Yeah.
What if the goddamn baby was the serpent's dad, the leader, Jughead's head? And so when they met, she stopped dating him. She started dating the father, and she was pregnant with his baby. And he was like, "You're having an abortion. It's not my kid."
That's a good theory.
Oh, can I just come on?
That's a really great theory.
No, come on, a couple times. Come on. There we go. Get some rhythm. Okay. We had a double high five the shit out of that moment.
But anyway, I was going to say, I just like her more and more. She hasn't really done anything to Betty behind her back. She's trying to expose the Blossoms. Okay, that's good. And she sat down and just kind of tipped her off and was like, hey, so the sheriff's kid is going out with a serpent.
Yeah, she was...
Have you ever thought about maybe why?
And I liked that when she was saying that moment, which, by the way, two things. One, when she was saying that moment, again, it felt more like Alice helping her rather than being an instigator, even though she was right. And then two, I feel like after she got that piece of information and she was hanging, because she's a smart journalist, she was hanging out by that party. She knew that party was happening. She knew that if those two were dating, Kevin most likely would be there, and most likely Southside Serpent. And then she definitely got that confirmation when she freaking saw Jughead's dad there. It's like, why would you be there if you wouldn't be kind of like hanging around? She wouldn't even consider. It's like, I know you're not seeing your son. I know you're a serpent. What are you doing here? Kind of thing. And so that's when she's like, you can tell the pieces in her head is like extra connecting that idea. So yeah. I hope that was the reason she got abortion. I know it's really dark to talk about someone's abortion, but I mean, like, if she were to have one, instead of it just being like a not a loose end, but like a possible great deeper scenario. Whoo.
And that's wild how Jughead's dad like saw Joaquin and Kevin making out and was like, you can tell he's like, I'm catching on to the fact that you actually have feelings for this guy, and that's not good. That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Wait, the sheriff's dad. Oh, apologies. I thought the sheriff's dad.
He didn't go out. He didn't go out and say it, but you know that's what he's thinking.
No. I thought you meant that the sheriff.
No, I know.
Seen his own son with him. I was like, I don't think that he knows they're dating.
No, I know.
Because
I know. I think he's
basically being like, don't do that. Don't be that person.
Don't get too involved.
That's probably why Alice is such a good journalist, because when you're like a serpent, apparently you have to be part detective, because everyone's like having to know information and piece things together.
And he did say something interesting to Joaquin. He's like, they think that Hiram could have had something to do with the murder because to get back at the Blossoms, and he's like, these kids are more on the ball than the sheriff is. But what does that mean? Because Hiram killed Jason? I don't know.
It's all like
the snakes killed Jason.
They're trying to spin us in a circle with a new suspect. Talentedly, they do add a new suspect to every episode. I honestly
have no idea who did it.
Exactly.
I still think it could have been Grundy. Yeah.
Her vagina is like from the Teeth movie, and it ate off his dick.
Well, maybe Miss Grundy was hired by Hiram to do something.
Oh, that'd be so dirty. Because along the way, she hooked up with Archie.
Yeah.
So she was getting... She's an nymphomaniac, and she's hooking up with him and the little boy, and like, you know what I mean?
Oh my god.
You literally put your head in your hand. That was so funny. I think that was everything, though.
I'm trying to think if we missed a plot point, but I don't think we did.
I know, I was thinking about that too. I guess Veronica hooked up with Archie. We got that. Val.
Yeah, Val.
We haven't seen Juice.
Oh, Archie got exposed at the party for hooking up with Grundy. Apparently, like, most of the school didn't know that, so they were like...
No offense, but it's like, oh, wow.
It's like, who cares?
Oh, wow. Like, that's so humiliating compared to, like...
we forgot to mention how Veronica straight up accused...
of twin sex?
Cheryl of having
and Cheryl was so embarrassed, and I was like, don't be embarrassed, girl. Love is real. I think the worst part that is more hurtful about what she said, which I think added to it, because as much as you can humiliate someone for being, like, incestuous, which is not right, everyone. No other way would I approve this, but for whatever reason, I'm like, I love them.
Oh my god.
But which is so not like me, but I'm like, the thing that upsets, or I thought was great for upsetting her was, it's like, I think she could deny it all she wants, but for her to then say, and he got tired of you, and he wanted to be with Polly. He even thought it was weird, and then that was probably, I bet you, when he did have that moment, which sounds like this was possibly the case, when he had that moment and he was like, this is weird that we're together, like, this is super, I bet you that made her feel so embarrassed because she didn't even know it was wrong, and she's super into like not doing that type of stuff. Do you get what I'm saying?
Or they could have not been together sexually at all. Because it
doesn't matter.
But
the idea is that they were a little too romantically into each other.
Not even that. Just like literally like just spending too much time.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
I just think that
that would have been. That's probably more realistic. I think it was romantic. I don't think it went further than like. I mean, it could have. I don't know, but I don't think it went further than like anything past like, just like. It's like you're not making out or anything, but it's like a little like further feeling than you should be. Because that does feel real, and that's why I'm saying I believe I've seen some brothers and sisters.
That you know what I'm talking about? Where it's like, okay, I know you guys
what you're talking about, but you're making me uncomfortable. Discuss it.
Yeah. See, and any other situation is creepy.
It's like that. It's like that episode of Friends.
Well, so yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I was thinking of that
episode. For everyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, there's an episode of Friends where Rachel is dating a guy and his sister comes into town and they're a little too sexual when they touch her and they're comfortable and she...
No, he lives with his sister.
He lives with his sister and it's really uncomfortable for her and she feels almost like a third party, but it's even weirder because they're brother and sister.
Yeah.
She tries to ask Monica, hey, are you like that with your brother? And then when they go to wrestle, it's actual real wrestling. There's no sexual tension. Then what happens?
They literally put their heads together and try to overpower each other in like the least.
He comes in the shower with her and weird shit.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just
it was weird.
So, anyways, I agree with you. But when that happened, I was like, oh man, way to cut even deeper at the idea that like, yeah, you guys were together, and he got tired of you, or he thought your relationship should be shameful, and I was just like, wow.
Or even at the like, you guys were close and it's totally not incestuous at all, but just like hanging out all the time, and he was just like, you know what? I don't feel obligated to do this for you anymore. I really just want my own life, and you're weird, and I only did this because I feel sorry for you, or something really mean. Could have happened. Can
I be honest with you how I perceive it? I don't think you're wrong. I'm just like telling you my theories. I feel like he was into her. He meets Polly. He thinks she's cute. Then he kind of almost feels like, oh, I feel like I'm cheating on Polly. Like, even just being, like, we're just talking about romantic at the minimum, you know? And he's kind of like, I'm with Polly now. In fact, actually, isn't it kind of weird? Like he starts to think, oh, I'm actually into someone, like, this is weird.
For the record, I don't believe any of this. And then,
instead of him, and then let me make this clear. Let me make this clear. This is my, you don't have to believe it in my theory. I'm just telling my theory. And then, when she would try to approach him about it, I don't see him as being mean, but I see him being like, no, we're not doing that anymore. And then the more he's just kind of, like, batting her away like a child, the more she feels weird. Okay.
That is the most realistic way that would have happened.
Oh, you're talking about Riverdale show.
If it happened.
Yeah.
Like, if that's actually what happened in the story. No, what I'm saying is, for a theory about Cheryl being jealous, right? In that way, that is the best theory. I think you hit the nail on the head on that. However, I just don't think anything. I think that I literally think they only wrote that part in that Veronica accused them of twincest because the writers knew that that's what we're kind of thinking or just suggesting. Yeah. And I think that it has nothing to do with the overall story because if it does, I'd be very fucking freaked out. I mean, if I want to watch Chinatown, I fucking would.
Honey, those are not comparable. This is real love, and that was like forced molestation.
I don't like incest in movies and shows and fucking
Agreed, but hold on. Chill out.
I know, I'm fine. I'm chill.
Chill out. All I know is that I was like, damn, Veronica, you cut on many levels. And the reason why I was pointing that out was just saying, it doesn't matter how we personally feel about it, that's how Cheryl felt. So that's upsetting.
That's how she felt just being told that, yeah. And like you said, your theory about that is like right on if the writers actually did want to go that route.
They're hella doing it. The person, her name's Madelaine, who plays Cheryl, she was talking in an interview I saw where she was talking about how weird she goes, oh yeah, their relationship is very romantic, it's very weird. And she says if you look in the background of the pictures, and I looked for it, if you look at pictures of the two of them together in the background, they're like in weird prom poses and shit. Like,
oh my god,
yeah,
that family's just all kinds of fucked up.
To be honest with you, you know why I like that storyline a lot? Is because I'm like, these are some fucking weird, like, heritage family redheads. I'm like,
drinking maple syrup out of wine glasses.
I bet you they don't totally. I think if they found out about it, they would beat both of them senseless, like Flowers in the Attic shit. But I, on the other hand, think somewhere in their crazy messed up brains, they'd be like, the family line.
Oh my god! I guarantee you that the two of them, their parents are like first or second cousins.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm positive.
So for me, the fact that they threw that in, the reason why I like that is because it really, to me, adds to the vibe of how crazy it adds to the weirdest.
And you know what? It does. I think that.
It's for me. I don't need more details than like all I need to hear is like one-off comments of that.
Exactly.
But I like it because it adds to it.
To you, before that awesome scene where Jughead hit Chuck, and then Jughead's dad was there for him, and then Alice revealed herself to be a former serpent, and Jughead and Betty made up, and then all that. I was telling you that I have a hard time watching the show sometimes because I feel
it's so
super
tense.
Involved.
Yeah, very.
I feel like when a character does something that I think wasn't right, I feel guilty.
Welcome to me watching anything ever.
I feel embarrassed. When a character's angry, I'm angry. I mean, it's just like I'm in it, and it's not like something I think I need to go through. This is not like it'd be great if you kind of work these things out. No. I don't need this, but the story's great.
It's so great.
And honestly, that's kind of what a good story can do to you. It's it's suffering.
Hold on. Can I say something? When you said that to me, you made me. I felt. When you and I have these moments where we'll say something that the other one feels so strongly that we'll feel that much closer to one another. That was a moment for me because.
You experience that with almost everything you watch.
Okay, so let me explain to people listening. Basically, Nick is so wonderful about this. You don't judge me or do anything to be like, don't be who you are. You're very understanding of it. But, so when I watch anything, TV, movies, YouTube for 30 seconds, I will feel it to such an intense level that this is an especial problem for me if it's an embarrassing movie. So, if there's a moment where someone's being humiliated, I feel it so intensely that I often have to leave the room and I can't watch the scene. It's not like watching someone have sex kind of embarrassment. It's like watching someone, like in that scene where Chuck was revealing secrets about Betty and you saw her like sizzling and that was really building a moment. That's the type of thing where I need to leave the room and I feel that uncomfortable. And I feel that, and I also feel so happy I cry. Like, I'm just so, emotional when I watch things. And when you felt that way, and I was happened to feeling that way at the same time, I was like, yes! Like, people think when they watch movies, like, I'm not trying to challenge anyone's emotions, but like, when people say, oh, I like that movie, it made me feel happy. It's like, yeah, you feel happy. I mean, like, I'll sometimes, like, feel like the character after a movie for, like, an hour afterwards, and I'll be like, yes, it's like I just got married to the... Oh, wait, I'm not that person.
After we saw Tomorrowland, you were crying, you're like, I'm a believer.
Oh my god, the scene when they were like, I believe, you literally looked over, and I was, like, at the screen being like, I believe. Like, I was, like, quietly whispering it to myself, like, I get into it.
You do.
So I felt connected to you when you said that.
It's almost like, with a show like this at times, it's almost like, when you have a stressful dream, and you wake up, and you feel that sense of relief that, like, none of that happened.
Oh, I usually keep feeling anxious.
No. That's what I'm getting to. Like, you have that initial sense of, like, oh, wow, that was a dream. I didn't do any of those things that I did in the dream. None of those things happened.
Oh, but you still
my life
ultimately...
is, like, the way I thought it was. Everything's normal. And then you know that, but then you start continuing to feel the emotions linger. That's what this is like. Like, I know it was a show. They're all just actors. And I don't know what their personal lives are like, but they're not the characters they're playing. Their personal lives are probably better than the characters they're playing. And I'm still feeling the emotions.
It's one of those things where if the show wasn't... some shows you and I feel that way after watching, but the script isn't so good that you and I make the decision we can't handle the tension, and then we'll both say to one another,
I think that this episode was genius.
But every episode is so good! And you know what upsets me, though? We're totally not going to see at the end of this damn season who killed Jason Blossom or even a full-on hint.
We need to... No.
The last episode's next week!
No, it's not.
Yes, it is!
No.
Oh, you're right!
10. I think there's supposed to be 13 episodes.
There's some weird problem on Wikipedia where it only says it goes to 11, but we have both checked and it is 12. Or 13, you mean. No, I'm making the point of saying Wikipedia, so when they write what happens in the episode, the synopsis, that only goes to 11. And as each week answers, they'll fill it up and give you results. But then when you read the informational part of it, it says 13 episodes.
Right.
So, do you see why that doesn't match? So, I believe you on the 13. And I think I've heard in interviews it's 13. But I'm just left being like...
happening in May.
Oh, Riverdale. You know what's hilarious? When I told you about it, when I saw they were going to make it, I loved the commercial, and I was laughing. I said, I have to check it out. I said, but it's going to be stupid. It's going to be CW stupid stuff. And then, I think you were mowing the lawn or something, and I watched,
Picking Up Sticks
3 episodes or 2 episodes or something like that, 4 or something. You were out for a while, and I had watched a bunch of episodes. Anyways, you came in, and you were like, why are you screaming? And I was like, oh my, go! I was like, I had to talk to the TV. I was so excited. And I was like, babe, I don't know if it's your thing, but I think you'll like this. And then you and I were hooked!
I mean, this episode... was one of the better episodes because last week's episode was good with the tension and everything, but
it was a filler episode and shitty editing. They got the editing down, but the commercials were too long. This episode was genius because it filled with so much tension, and then all these satisfying things just happened rapid fire after one another. I did like when Hermione asked, the butler dude, what do you think about my dad? Is he good? And he was like, I can't say. What about my mom? I loved that.
He was like, she's unequivocally good. And I think that she probably has done a lot of illegal and probably immoral shit, but she was probably forced into it by her husband.
That's what I think.
And also, she's not involved like he is.
I keep staring at this cute... Can I touch this little curl in your head?
Oh, stop.
I keep looking at it, and I'm just like, oh, it's so cute, curly. Sorry.
One last plot point we didn't talk about, though, and I don't really care too much about it, but, Archie's dad coming home with his mom.
Oh, wait. You know what I was going to say? Okay, this will connect with that.
Also, where the fuck did that dog come from? Did they have a dog?
Yes, that's what I said. I was like, wait, you have a dog?
And he just sits next to the dog and starts petting the dog. Like,
it's a happy lab, ready to accept anyone's, like, intention and love.
Where did this dog come from?
So, hold on. So, I was going to compliment the show and say, surprisingly, even though, of course, there's cheesy moments, it's some of the most relatable, young... I think if you write really good, hear me out, truly good teen dialogue that's heartfelt and is very connecting, when a 40-year-old person sees it, they connect to it. Because I think everyone can agree that within probably 13 to 21 are some of emotionally scarring or defining years.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, kind of their personalities are based off of that time period. So if you write it good enough, it doesn't matter they're not a teen anymore. Those teens are usually experiencing the most rawest, relatable emotions.
Yeah.
And so they're writing stuff that I haven't... Everyone says that the 80s, especially that time period where it was all Pretty in Pink and stuff like that, was a great time period for the whole great teen dialogue writing and stuff. Just teen love, basically. And I feel that this show really is now a classic in its first season alone of the dialogue. Oh God, right? It's so amazing. But then... how perfect and beautiful is it that when I'm saying this great teen dialogue, of course Archie's mom is freaking Molly Ringwald, and when she walked in, I made myself laugh. I mean, you laughed too, because I went, oh, hey Archie, I know something about being 16. Because I gotta tell you, I'm like, of course, she's a redhead.
Archie, I'll make you breakfast.
She's not a great actress as an adult. I'll make you breakfast. I didn't even think of that.
I haven't even seen her as an adult in anything. I've only seen Breakfast Club, 16
I think she was on The Secret Life of a pregnant teenage show, whatever. But I saw a couple scenes with her, and I mean, she may impress me in this, but I was like, oh, you kind of suck as an adult actor. You kind of actually rocked as a young one. But by the way, when she came home, I freaking cracked up when you said in the commercials she's basically trying to convince him to come to Chicago, and you were like, Chicago?
He's like it's not safe in Riverdale.
Yeah.
One homicide. Chicago? Look it up. It's really tragic.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they got great pizza.
You're not... And of course there's safe areas.
Well,
and of
it's
course,
a cool city.
She might not even live in the city. She might live in the suburb. But anyway, I just thought that was hilarious to hear her say, You have to come to Chicago because Riverdale's not safe anymore.
I know.
Riverdale
when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, good point.
Do you know how many gangs are in Chicago? Riverdale has one. And
he's friends with the dead, so he kind of is like, he'll never be hurt.
Murders in Riverdale, one. Murders in Chicago, not one.
So said.
I just thought that was funny, but
I also don't really interested in that as a couple.
I'm not really interested in that plot point where Archie's like, "Oh, should I stay or should I?"
Can I just tell you, Archie it really cracks me up that Archie is literally, despite his name being the show, and I wouldn't want him to go away because I think he is a connecting glue point in a good way.
And the guy who acts him does a great job.
He does a great job. But let me hear me out. It's like, wow, you really are like the side character to your own show, and I love
everybody's interested in Bughead, Jughead, Polly, Alice.
But can I tell you why that's genius? You know how you brought this up in a couple shows I've seen that I was like, oh shit, you're right. You said you hate this, and now you've gotten me to really be aware of it. When a friend of the main character, it's like they don't live any other life other than to praise and obsess over their dating life and what they're doing. And you're like, why can't the side character have their own life and just be friends with them?
Right, and at this point, like, Archie's not even quite a side character, so those really aren't side characters. I mean, there are some characters that are minor characters, but they're not obsessing over what the main characters are doing. Like, Tilton Doily doesn't seem to give a fuck about anything except shooting guns off, and you know what I mean?
So, in agreement with you.
He's not tagging along anybody being like, so Archie, who did you have sex with? Oh, by the way, what is sex, Archie? Tell me everything about it. Like, I hate characters like that.
So, with this, I appreciate that he is both the main, but not the main actor.
Yeah, nobody's obsessed with him.
I think it makes me like the side characters more, and even have a favorable, how do I say this? I wouldn't want it to be the Jughead and Betty show alone.
No.
So I appreciate Archie being the main character that connects everyone, but at the end of the day, when he talks about his freaking music or his, like, oh, my parents, not to be terrible, because, like, people going through divorce, I actually understand that it's, like, a really rough thing, but compared to everyone else's problem, it just feels like, shut up, Archie, we want to hear a more interesting stand plot point, or get further in the mystery. Oh, we forgot to say this one last thing. So I love that because Veronica does testify for her dad, she gets her new pearls, and she said, I think he said daddy, which I was like, ugh.
Thank you.
I was like, no, Jughead is daddy, not Jughead. It's just because of the coffee cup, not in that traditional term.
I know.
By the way, when that became a thing, that really deeply creeped me out.
Oh, Freud would have been so pumped. Yeah. Like, I was right!
Yeah. But Veronica basically is like, can I come into the mystery? And two things. One, I appreciate that they did that because it feels believable. I think she'd be interesting to what she has to offer and what she can find out. But it kind of, I want it to be mostly about this mystery. So I appreciate that kind of Veronica for a little bit they didn't have a strong enough plot point for her. So when she comes in and she's part of the investigation, her plot point becomes that much more valuable again and more interesting than like a random Ethel episode or something like that. But I was cracking up with you that Archie's totally gonna be like, guys, everyone's like hanging out doing this investigation thing, and I'm not invited. And you know, Betty's always like, bye, Archie, I have to go solve this case.
Yeah,
you know, bye,
now
Jughead,
Veronica's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna go.
Right, yeah, everyone's gonna be like, bye. I want Val to join the case.
Oh my god, it would just be like everybody.
Oh, can we just give Melody some lines?
One day.
Because I love Josie, and Val, for such weak writing in many regards, has quite a depthful background as well.
Yeah.
Come on, give Melody,
I wouldn't mind a more Josie and the Pussycats arcs in the show.
They've got some interesting stuff.
That was really good in the first few episodes. How they were a constant presence, and I want them to come back. That was interesting to me. But
also, I want to learn more about. Do you remember that guy who's gonna go on the date with Veronica? Who's the other black guy?
He
had a very sweet face. He was like really
I think
sweet.
He's actually Josie's brother.
I think that's what I said, and I think that's what they said. And he is so sweet and so likable in the bit
he was going on a date with
him.
Betty. That's who he was going on a date with.
And he was like excited to go on a date with Betty and all that stuff.
Betty only wanted to hang out with him to get information.
Yeah, I don't need him to be into Betty at all.
No.
But I actually would be interested, forget creepy evil Chuck, bring him in, and even if his plot point is only like, maybe he heard something about the case, and then he just makes one like, I overheard this, but then the rest of the time he's like dating Val or something, or Melody, or anyone, he can date anyone he wants. But I feel like those are characters that I want to bring into the focal point more, and those characters having a couple relationship would get more airtime, so I'd be like, yeah, you know what I mean? I hope Veronica and Archie, FYI, I hope they don't get together. I'm okay if they do, but I hope they don't get together. They have this little secret between them, and it kind of like, it builds up, because I normally hate that, and I'm like, come on, just be together.
But
with this, is like, fine. But this is like, I'm cool with you building it up. You wouldn't make me feel anxious, because like, we all know you're going to end up together. At least for a time.
Whatever. And also, I just don't really care either way. All right, I guess that was everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, where ideas may appear with
Nick
and Sivia. Have a nice day.